When we talk about Kenyan gospel music, a few names instantly come to mind. Artists who have shaped the sound, inspired millions, and stood as voices of faith through music. One of those unforgettable names is Paul Mwai. For years, his songs have echoed through churches and even homes across Kenya. From his soulful worship style, heartfelt lyrics, to his commanding stage presence, Paul Mwai built a legacy that many gospel artists admire and emulate. But beyond the lights, microphones, and cameras, Paul Mwai's story is deeper than music. It's a story of faith, family, love, struggles, resilience, and quiet transformation. Paul Mwai was born and raised in Kenya. Like many gospel ministers, his childhood was heavily shaped by faith, community, and music in church. From a young age, Paul discovered that he had a gift, a voice that carried not only melody, but emotion, conviction, and inspiration. In his teenage years, he immersed himself in church activities, youth fellowships, and choirs. It was here that his musical journey truly began. Unlike many who chase fame, Paul's motivation was to use his gift as a ministry tool to draw people closer to God. Even before he was known nationally, Paul's voice was already stirring people's hearts in small church gatherings. Friends and mentors encouraged him to pursue music professionally, and slowly he started nurturing that dream. Paul Mwai's breakthrough came in the early 2000s, during a time when gospel music in Kenya was taking new directions. Artists like Esther Wahome, Rafton, Daddy Owen, and Mercy Masika were making headlines. Paul's entry into the industry brought a fresh style, a balance of contemporary gospel with deep worship. His songs carried strong messages of hope, healing, forgiveness, and the love of God. Some of his best-known songs include Nimekubali, Nashukuru, and Milele Baba. The simplicity of his lyrics combined with his authenticity made him stand out. Paul was not just singing, he was ministering through song. His performance often moved audiences to tears, drawing them into worship. Behind every great man, there is often a strong support system. For Paul, that support came from his wife, who stood by him through his rise in ministry. While Paul is a private individual and has managed to keep much of his personal life away from the public eye, it is well known that his wife has been a pillar in his journey. Theirs was not just a romantic union, but a partnership in ministry. Together they balanced the demands of family, faith, and music. His wife often supported him in his ministry work, and the two became an example of a godly couple serving together. Their marriage also came with challenges, as many public figures experience. Balancing fame, ministry pressures, and family life was never easy. But Paul has often emphasized in interviews that his family was his first ministry, a value that helped him stay grounded. Despite his success, Paul was not immune to struggles that life brings. The gospel industry in Kenya is competitive, sometimes filled with controversies, rivals, and temptations. Paul, however, managed to steer clear of major scandals. Still, like many artists, he experienced seasons of quietness, moments when he was less visible, when new artists emerged, and when people began to wonder what happened to Paul Mwai. These quiet periods were not failures, but rather times of reflection and ministry focus. Paul shifted his energy from being in the limelight to more intimate ministry settings, churches, worship events, and personal projects. Today, Paul continues to serve as a worship leader and minister, primarily through church-based ministry. While he may not be as visible on mainstream media as he was during his peak years, he is still actively involved in concerts, crusades, and mentorship. One of his lasting contributions has been mentoring younger gospel artists. Many up-and-coming worship leaders credit him as a source of inspiration and guidance. Paul has also dedicated himself to family and community, living a more private and quiet life compared to his earlier fame. When you look back at Paul Mwai's career, his impact is undeniable. He belongs to the group of Kenyan gospel artists who set the foundation of contemporary worship music in the country. His songs continue to be sung in churches, weddings, and Christian gatherings years after their release. More than music, Paul Mwai's legacy is about authentic ministry. He proved that one can be successful without controversy, without chasing headlines, and without compromising their faith. His life is a lesson in humility, consistency, and faithfulness.